Around 450 BC, Protagoras, a Greek sophist, noted, "Of all things the measure is man, of the things that are, how they are, and of the things that are not, how they are not." Human beings may be regarded as insignificant in the scale of the universe, or indistinguishable at a cosmic scale from other life. But in commerce, we believe that the ultimate determinant of value for markets is the value given by people. There is the old story about the market craze in sardine trading when the sardines disappeared from their traditional waters in Monterey, California. The commodity traders bid them up, and the price of a can of sardines soared. One day, a buyer decided to treat himself to an expensive meal and actually opened a can and started eating. He immediately became ill and told the sellers the sardines were no good. The seller said, "You don't understand. These are not eating sardines. They are trading sardines." Markets are anthropocentric. Canadian environmentalist Dr. David Suzuki points out that the Brundtland Commission called for the protection of 12% of the land in all countries, a target which has absolutely no scientific basis, and yet which very few countries have managed to achieve. But we are one species out of 15 to 30 million species on the planet, and setting a target of protection of 12% of our land base for all the other species means that we seem to take it for granted that we can take over 88% of the land. People wonder how financial market risk varies from natural risk, such as earthquakes or hurricanes. The key distinction is that financial markets incorporate people's perceptions. When you give a bad weather forecast predicting rain tomorrow, it doesn't make rain tomorrow more likely. But when you give a bad forecast predicting a share will fall tomorrow, you do make it more likely. People add a very strong feed-forward loop to financial systems. Talking a market up or down frequently moves a market up or down. Too much connectedness in people's opinions can be a bad thing, leading to bubbles. Too much isolation means that communities stagnate and die. We must combine global information and problems with local solutions. We need to find more ways to give communities genuine power and genuine responsibilities, including bearing the consequences of their actions. Our political positions need to be remapped. Why can't we have parties that recognize huge numbers of responsible, overlapping, and competing communities within a market society? Or parties that recognize that while there is no such thing as a global community, globally dispersed communities do exist today. Our self-infatuation is best explored by the tale of Narcissus. Infantem nymphae iam tunqui posset amari, Narcissusumque vocat de quo consultas anesset. "Tell me," she asked, "will my baby live to a ripe old age?" "Yes," he replied, "so long as he never knows himself." Echo, a nymph, under a curse of repetition, falls in love with the beautiful Narcissus. Echo stealthily follows the handsome youth hunting, longing to address him, but unable to speak first. When Narcissus hears her footsteps and shouts, "Who's there?" Echo answers, "Who's that?" Back and forth it goes, until finally Echo rushes to embrace the lovely youth. Narcissus pulls away, leaving Echo heartbroken. Echo spends the rest of her life pining for the love she never knew, until only her voice remained. To avenge this rebuff, Nemesis sends Narcissus a punishment. As he drinks from a pool, Narcissus sees his reflection for the first time in his life and falls in love with the beautiful boy he sees. Eventually realizing that the image he sees is himself, and realizing that he cannot act upon this love, he tears and beats at his body. As he dies, the bodiless Echo comes to him, moved by sorrow and pity. His soul is sent to the darkest hell, and the Narcissus flower grows where he died.
In his 16th year, Narcissus, still a slender boy, but already a man, infatuated many. His beauty had flowered, but something glassy about it, a pride, kept all his admirers at a distance. None dared be familiar, let alone touch him. A day came. Out on the mountain, Narcissus was driving and netting and killing the deer when Echo saw him. Echo, who cannot be silent when another speaks. Echo, who cannot speak at all unless another has spoken. Echo, who always answers back. Narcissus said to Echo, "You are me. Now I see that. I see through my own reflection. But it's too late. I'm in love with myself. I torture myself. What am I doing? Loving or being loved? What can my courtship gain? What I want, I am. But being all that I long for, that is my destitution. Why can't I get apart from my body? This is a new kind of lover's prayer, to wish himself apart from the one he loves.